playing some role in sex trafficking and potentially having a relationship with a 17-year-old girl. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it. So this is obviously a serious allegation. Tell us what the truth is from your perspective.
It is a horrible allegation, and it is a lie. The New York Times is running a story that I have traveled with a 17-year-old woman, and that is verifiably false. People can look at my travel records and see that that is not the case. What is happening is horrible sex trafficking allegations against me.
We have a lot to talk about, you and I. Why don't you just have a seat right there, please?
I'm Chris Peninsula. No, you're not. Is it? No, you're not. Is it?
Why don't you just have a seat right there, please?
With a 17-year-old. I'm not the only person on screen right now who's been falsely accused of a terrible sex act. You were accused of something that you did not do, and so you know what this feels like. I can say that actually you and I went to dinner about 2 years ago. Your wife was there, and I brought a friend of mine. You'll remember her. And she was actually threatened by the FBI. Accused terrible sex act.
If there is anything that needs to be satirized and remixed, it is Trump talking about massive dumps. And by the way, extra points, if you can sample Trump saying massive dumps and me talking about it in a song, please do it.
Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps. Big massive dumps. 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 Dump. Dumps. Dumps. Dump. Dumps. 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 Dump. Dumps. Dumps. Dump. Dump. Big massive dumps. 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 Sir, you just dumps. Dumps. Dump. Big massive dumps.
Donald Trump insisted multiple times that it was massive dumps that led him to lose the election, which is just
on another level. On another level.
Dumps. 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 Sir, you just dumps. Dumps. Dump. Big massive dumps. 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 Sir, you just dumps. Dump. Big massive dump.
You turn the faucet on in areas where there's tremendous amounts of water, where the water rushes out to sea because you could never handle it. People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, as opposed to once.
Dumps. 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 Sir, you just dumps. Dump. Big massive dumps. 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 Dumps.
what is going on here? What is going on here? It's just beyond parody. I mean, massive dumps cost them the election. What is going on here? What is going on here? It's just beyond parody. I mean, massive dumps cost them the election. What is going on here? What is dumps.
Dumps.
Dumps. That
Dumps. dumps.
All right, welcome everybody. We're standing by for Joe Biden, who's going to be holding a press conference, taking press questions, not only from American press, but also from, oh, am I on? Hold on. Oh, I am. Not only from American press, but also South Korean journalists. This will be a joint press conference with President Moon Jae-in of the Republic of Korea, known to us as South Korea. And that is going to be very soon, but I'm glad to have some time with everybody here because we have so much to talk about. And I appreciate everybody who's here watching. We're going to get to super chats. We're going to get to all sorts of things. I know we have a bit of a mic issue. There is a situation happening around me right now. It's going to be resolved really soon. Really, really soon. I promise you guys it's going to be resolved and we're going to be in good shape from the standpoint of audio, but just dealing with a bit of a background noise thing. No need to continue talking about it unless you really want to, and I think people probably do. But yeah, there's elements of cleaning that are going on right now. I know some people might have tuned in for drama today. I don't, at this point, the drama has branched fractally to the point where I can't even keep it up, because originally there was drama because I didn't talk about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Then there was drama because I did. And then various streamers were concatenating criticisms of me. And then now there are all sorts of others. Like, I'm getting pinged with Google alerts from all sorts of YouTubers that are now jumping in because they smell blood in the water. And this is the thing. And I used to do this. I'm not attacking this. I'm just saying it's now for me beyond where I can tell you everybody who's mad. When I had a much smaller YouTube channel, 20,000 subscribers, even 100, 200,000 subscribers, I would look for larger channels and then I would attack because I would try to get them to react and all of that stuff. But the problem is that there's now so many. Like, I did a thing, and then Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell II did a reaction video. Chris Bosch did. And who else? You know, there was a few of these. Now other people are seeing them and they're doing even like lower brow criticisms. And so it's sort of like the Saudi royal family, where now there's 12,000 people in it because with every generation, everybody's having kids and kids and kids, and you just can't afford it all. It's a really similar situation. I know there are other clips people are sending me. Oh, so-and-so did a clip. You know, Steve from Montana has now criticized you, and Decentralized Union is now doing a clip, and all of this different stuff. I can't keep up with it. I can't keep up with it. I have become the very thing I swore to destroy. That's exactly right. I like that comment. So if people, you know, via super chat or something, send me something specific, I guess I'd look at it, but I don't have anything planned really right now as far as that goes. Yeah, I just don't care. Exactly. I just don't care. I can keep track of my followers, not the haters. That's exactly the way I would say it. Unknown Prodigy, by the way, checking in with today's first super chat, says fractal branching. Exactly. That's the new term, fractal branching. Okay. Where did I want to start today? Because there are a few. I have no unban requests, so we're skipping that altogether. I do have some. Oh, okay. Let me just thank everybody via Twitch. Bebo Butt has subscribed, and Battlestar Catalactica is here. Neptune at the 9-month mark. What else do we have? Jaslyn Knights has gifted a sub. That's 4. Covert Catalyst is 5. T-Sis is 6. The Almighty Kevin is number 7. A Grove is number 8. Small Fuzzy Moss is number 9. Word Fencer 10. And I think that's it. Oh, Savvy Lady is number 11. Appreciate that, guys. Thanks for kicking us off. Okay, let me see. I have my notes here. Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess this is probably similar to the brief commentary about now the fractally branching attack content, which we're not going to get to. We've had to ban so many people lately. It's real, but there has been an influx of trolls where we have had to ban people on the subreddit. We've had to do Twitch bans, YouTube bans. I would probably put it in the hundreds over the last week. And, you know, I spoke to big-time chess streamer Levy Rosman not long ago, and he gets way more people watching his streams than I do. He only bans a couple of people a day, And I think it's the nature of the content. Patrick says a cup of sauce at Chick-fil-A is 1 ounce. Oh, okay. Yeah, I covered this Chick-fil-A story where a bunch of Republicans are blaming Joe Biden because the number of sauces is being limited at Chick-fil-A and they think somehow it's Biden's fault. And Chick-fil-A announced we will only give 1 cup of sauce per item to people. And I was like, who needs that much stuff? I've never been to a Chick-fil-A, but is the food that bad that you need a cup of sauce on each item? And this user, Patricker, is saying a cup is only 1 ounce. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know anything about Chick-fil-A. I've never been to one. I apologize. So we've got that. And then, if you guys would allow me, I would like to do just a really brief tech check-in because whenever I ask for tech help on streams, it is 99% trash replies, but it's 1% solutions to my problems. So here's my new request for you guys. With travel starting back up, I am going to be doing some remote broadcasting this summer. So I will be going to my remote setup. And here's the thing about my remote setup. It is painfully inefficient. It's too big. And what I need to do is physically shrink down the size of my mobile setup. So I would love your help in helping me figure out how to do that. Okay, so right now, this is what my setup looks like. I've got my EVRE20, which plugs into a cloud lifter. The cloud lifters are tiny. I've got one right here. It's little, right? So my cloud mic goes into cloud lifter. Cloud lifter goes into my voice processor, DBX. This thing is gigantic. It's really not practical to travel with that. I also have the mic on a big mic arm, which is great when I'm driving somewhere, but not when I'm flying. So that's all my audio. That plugs into my Sony X70 camera, which is pretty sizable. And then I've got a light that goes on the shoe and the tripod. That's a lot. I then have to bring my green screen. Although for a couple of locations this summer, I'm going to basically just order a green screen and have it sent to where I'm going to be. This entire signal flow of audio into video goes into my Blackmagic shuttle. I'm replacing this with an Elgato version, which is about 1/3 of the size. And then all of that goes into my laptop. So it's like, what could I shrink? Obviously, I can get rid of the mic arm and do a desktop stand. But the desktop stand, the whole point of the mic arm is, if I tap my desktop, this mic arm doesn't pick it up. I could get a physically smaller microphone. I don't know if it'll sound as good. If someone can recommend like a a lavalier mic that would really sound as good as this, I would switch to that. But, okay. The voice processor, can I go without it altogether? I don't know. This does a lot to get rid of room tone and so on. The camera, I could definitely have a smaller camera. I think if I had a smaller camera, I could have a tiny tripod. I could just go with like a really small tripod or even like a suction cup mount if the camera was smaller. Lighting, I don't know. So I think that there's some opportunities here to reduce. I would love to be able to put everything in a backpack other than the green screen. I can just get a green screen wherever I'm going. I'm not so worried about that. So that's the question. If people have, and really, if you're going to be like, oh, just use your phone only. Come on, guys. Yeah, I'm going to do the entire show with a phone and no professional video or microphone or it needs to go into OBS, all this different stuff. info@davidpakman.com. Okay, that's my request. So we've gotten the tech questions out of the way. I do want to say thanks to Sean Wells. Sean just signed up, just now, at joinpakman.com and is new member number 12 today. Thanks a lot. I do appreciate that. I also want to say thank you to Jaslyn Knights for gifting a sub on Twitch, Megan Solo for gifting a sub, Elusive Joe, that's 3 via Twitch, putting us at 15. Appreciate that very much. No, that's the rack mount voice processor. I don't need it. I just need to know, what do I replace it with? Because I could be in a room with a lot of background noise. The noise gate makes it so that we eliminate that. That's the question. All right. So definitely, if we have tech savvy people, if they're going to email me and say, David, do it all with an Xbox, just save it. You don't need to email me. Thanks to Sinpre for the Twitch sub. Let's look at some super chats. Stephen Kenneth is very well informed on audio-video related things. He may have some space-saving tips for you. Not a bad idea. Have you ever thought about getting a bunch of Akai controllers and turn your setup into a more sophisticated recording studio? I have never thought of that, no. Deepak based and omnipilled. What does that mean? What's your position on the death penalty in relation to percentage of innocents executed? I am against the death penalty, period. I am against the death penalty, period. And BR says, frick 'em, David, you can't please everyone's crying. I understand. I get it. All right. Let's get into some clips. This is very aggressive. CNN reporter Biana Golodriga was going to... and I see people recommending the Blue Yeti. I have 3 Blue Yetis. It's not up to par. It's just not... The quality is not what I need. Remember, I'm recording an audio podcast. I get that the Blue Yeti is okay for streaming, but we need a higher fidelity microphone. I have more Blue Yetis than I know what to do with, but that's not suitable for my. And by the way, that's not even smaller than this, so I'm not even saving. I lose everything and I gain nothing with the Blue Yeti. Okay, so Biana Golodriga was set to interview the Pakistani foreign minister, and he just opens with anti-Semitic slurs. It's super aggressive. Let's take a look. Okay, and this is somehow muted. Let's unmute. Let's go to the beginning. Much to discuss today.
UN General Assembly gathered today to discuss this crisis. Pakistan's Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi took to the podium to demand aid to be allowed into Gaza and called for an end to, quote, Israeli aggression.
A just solution for Palestine is imperative for the maintenance of regional and global peace and security. Clearly, the onus for restoring peace rests on Israel.
And the Pakistani foreign minister joins me now from New York. Mr. Minister, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a very busy day. From your end, do you hear any talks about a possible ceasefire coming anytime soon?
Now, remember, this was like before the ceasefire that we got announced yesterday.
I am convinced the tide is turning. I am convinced the public pressure, the pressure of public opinion is mounting, and ceasefire is inevitable. Israel is losing out. They're losing the media war despite their connections. They are losing the media war. The tide is turning.
What are their connections?
Deep pockets.
What does that mean?
Well, they're very influential people. I mean, they control media.
I mean...
Oh, man. I'm pretty sure Biana Golodriga is Jewish. He would be banned from the Twitch chat. Let's put it that way, yeah. Let's continue.
And I would call that an anti-Semitic remark.
Well, you see, the point is they have a lot of influence. And they get a lot of coverage. Now, what has balanced that is the citizen journalist who has been reporting, sharing video clips, and that...
Oh, my God. All right, so we'll do a full review of that. Not exactly subtle, guys. Not exactly. That would be a permaban on my channel, yeah. A little bit. It was a little bit suspicious when he dropped an overt anti-Semitic trope. All right, so that's the foreign minister of Pakistan, and we'll cover that. We'll cover that on Monday. Other super chats coming in. Sandra says, I wanted to wait until Memorial Day to join since I've wanted to for the longest, but since I caught you live, I'll go ahead and subscribe for the shout out. Absolutely, Sandra. Let's do it. No better day than today. Okay, so we've gotten that out of the way. I have a Dave Rubin clip that came to my attention. This one's almost a little bit sad. You know, there's this thing about Dave Rubin. Let me see if I can actually find this, just because otherwise I know people are going to... There's sometimes I'm pulling up the data because I need to bring receipts. Hold on. Compare. Rubin report. Okay. There's some people believe that Dave Rubin's YouTube channel is really, really influential and just a gigantic YouTube channel because he gets all these speaking gigs and Jordan Peterson and all this stuff. What you have to remember about the Rubin channel, this is compared to my channel, right? In blue, as you can see, there's no question Dave Rubin is killing it with subscribers, although he's leveling off and we're really closing that gap, especially in the last couple of months, as you can see here. And in fact, we may be, let me see, projections. Yeah, we're projected to surpass Rubin's channel, actually. Okay, not until 2023, but maybe we can accelerate that. But here's what you have to remember. Look at the views. Rubin Report is in blue, okay? The Rubin Report really doesn't get a lot of views. A lot of their content is like in partnership with different organizations, which means he's getting paid for it. And that's totally fine. We do some of that stuff too. But the subscriber numbers have gotten totally out of hand with views. And in fact, if you look at the daily views, this is going back to, I mean, I don't know, this is going back to 13 months ago. We're in red. On basically every single day, we're crushing Rubin on views. And that's really what matters. It's not close, guys. Like on average, we're just shy of 1 million views a day and Rubin's shy of 200,000. So from the standpoint of views, we're 5 times bigger than Rubin. I would never have the audacity to go on the air and say, how dare a guest I want not respond to me and not show up? I'm big and important. Like I would have to be, I don't even know if there's substances on earth that would put me in such a delusional and entitled position where I would do that. And we're 5 times as big as Rubin from the standpoint of views. Okay. Check out the entitlement here. Rubin upset that he can't get Caitlyn Jenner on his show.
Oh, and that does remind me of one other thing that I want to say before we end the show today.
So bitter. Look at this.
Which is that, you know, as you guys know, I've sort of in these last 2-3 weeks sort of supported, I say supported,
yeah.
I've said nice things and
right.
somewhat promoted Caitlyn Jenner, who is running against Gavin Newsom in this California recall election. We have repeatedly on this show reached out through all the proper channels to her team. We haven't heard back. I've tweeted at her many times.
We have 5 times the views of Rubin, and every week we don't hear back from guests, and sometimes they're guests that I like. It's not like a personal thing, you know.
My tweets get way more traffic than any of her tweets do, so I know that either she or the intern who's running the Twitter account or the team are seeing it.
Yeah.
So it is my belief at this point that this will sort of be my last effort at this. That if we don't at least hear back, the fact that nobody is responding to us, you don't have to do the show. You could just politely say, no, we're not doing it,
right.
Or we're figuring out the media stuff or whatever.
It's a palpable insecurity. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
It is my belief at this point that the Caitlyn Jenner thing is a complete sham. I just...
And what's funny is, like, not responding to Rubin is separate from Caitlyn Jenner's positions on issues. If Dave Rubin really is a fan of Caitlyn Jenner's policy platform, which is completely non-existent, by the way, it was like rake the forest, do forest management, and make sure all the private plane owners stay. You would think that if Dave Rubin believes Caitlyn Jenner is great for California, then it wouldn't really matter if Caitlyn Jenner responds to Rubin. It would just be the right candidate.
I don't think it's real. I think they put together a nice, slick ad, and I'm guessing she has a reality show team with her. I don't know that for a fact.
So that's speculation, unsubstantiated.
But I would love to know if that's true because I'm guessing it is. But I don't believe it's a real campaign, which is a damn shame because California needed somebody to stand up, and in an odd way.
It could be a real campaign, but they just don't care to respond to Dave Rubin. You know, that's a possibility. It's conceivable that that's the case.
Maybe it was supposed to be
like the guy who is currently president, Joe Biden. He clearly ran a real campaign because he won. My guess is he would not have responded to Dave Rubin. It's not really,
someone like Caitlyn Jenner to kind of flip this whole thing on its head. I don't mean to make this about me specifically, but the point
that's all that this is about. He doesn't mean to, but it just happens to be all that this is about.
I've been one of the most outspoken people in California. I have a pretty big platform here to get the voice out. And if your team is so inept that
Guys, he gets 190,000 views a day. It's like, okay. I mean, what are you talking? And how many of those are in California?
You just don't respond. We've tried on every proper front behind the scenes, and I've done it publicly. The fact that you guys don't even respond, either this is an unserious campaign and you're just using it for PR purposes for a new reality show or something like that, or you're completely mismanaged. So I say that with no animosity. I say that with no hatred.
You can tell, guys, from the tone of his voice, there's no animosity at all.
Or malice or anything else. I guess we'll give it another day or two for someone to just respond.
He's putting a 48-hour ultimatum on it.
You don't have to do the show, obviously, Caitlin, if you think I'm, too much of a hard interview, because that's what I'm really known as. I really beat my.
Oh my God, it's just pathetic. Really, really. It's like I almost start to feel bad where it's like, dude, maybe look inward. Maybe therapy, I mean, there's a lot going on there. I would love to talk to Dave. He has not responded to me. Let me see. When is the last time we had any exchanges? He cut me off. I mean, you guys know the story. I'm not saying it. He just stopped responding to me. Last time I heard from him was, what date is this? November of 2017. Wow. So it's been almost 4 years. Yeah. Anytime, I would love to talk to him. So that's the latest with Dave Rubin. I mean, is he serious if he's not responding to me? I have a pretty big following here on YouTube, 5 times the size of his. I don't know. Is he serious because he's not responding to me? I sound like an idiot if I say that. Okay. Sandra Woodroof has just signed up at joinpacman.com, and Jaslyn Loves David has just signed up at joinpacman.com. Really appreciate that. We have really, really strong traffic right now, actually, to joinpacman.com. Also want to say thanks to Adam David Lee for the 7 months subscribed on Twitch. Link Diablo has subscribed via Twitch. It's Future Man, thanks for the 5 months. That is 3, putting us at 21. And if you're just joining us, we are really close to hearing from Joe Biden and the South Korean President Moon Jae-in. They will be doing a press conference. They will be taking questions, etc. Deratend says Jenner going on Rubin's show creates a grift vortex. It may create a black hole. California may collapse on itself. That's a good point. Daniel says, did you see Rubin trying to make the point that the left hates gamers? Reminded me of Seinfeld's "The Jews hate grass, always have." I didn't see that. Aviator says, I know a lot of people are tired of big, massive dumps, but I still giggle every time I hear it. It's on another level. Yeah. Michael is suggesting I get a Neumann TLM 102. Let's see what that is. Neumann TLM 102. What kind of a mic is that? That is no, that's a large microphone. That's 2/3 the size of the one I have. I have microphones for my Rode studio. I would only change if I could get one that's significantly smaller and almost as good. But I don't need another. I have 4 of these things hanging around here. Ruben is hilariously butthurt. I don't like that term. Butthurt it's a homophobic term. It's not a term I use. I think we can say other things. So I'm not, that's not for me. All right. Here's a funny thread. You guys tell me if this is true. I genuinely don't know if this is for real. Look at this. Zachary Patrizzo, who is the staff writer at Salon. So not satire as far as I know. Check this out. My Pillow CEO Mike Lindell is now claiming he has not only obtained both Dominion and Smartmatic voting machines, but also has hidden the machines in secret locations across the country. It's like geocaching. According to a Mike Lindell assistant who just spoke with Salon, the Pillow Maven is currently flying somewhere now and is unable to comment on the matter. According to public information, I can confirm that Lindell is now aboard his private jet, which took off from New Bedford, Mass, and appears to be heading west at this time. Unclear if he is traveling with a voting machine. Lindell made a very quick stop at Elmira Corning Airport in Horseheads, New York, and is now on his way back to Bedford. Remains unclear if a machine is hiding in Horseheads and why it was such a fast trip. What a bizarre situation. I don't even like, it's sort of a speaks for it's presented without comment type of situation. All right. So that's the latest with Mike Lindell. We might have more information about that by Monday. Okay. We covered this already. Oh, this is funny. So this OAN reporter, Channel Ryan, she got an exclusive interview with Trump And look at the introduction. Look at the level of sucking up here. Check out this introduction and check out just and her opener to Trump is how Biden's not even legitimate. Look at this. This is crazy.
President Donald J. Trump left an indelible mark on U.S. politics. From the 25th floor of his iconic New York headquarters, One America News sat down with our 45th president for an exclusive one-on-one discussion. There, he shared with us his forecast, his fears, and his hopes for America's horizon. In the process, we witnessed an illuminating snapshot into the mind of a man whose leadership and battles sparked a movement that forever altered the course of American history.
They're acting like Trump is, FDR or something.
This is an OAN exclusive interview from New York City, New York. Mr. President, we sit here in Trump Tower many days and many miles from what many Americans consider an illegitimate Biden White House. President
Oh, man. So anyway, I have not been able to find more clips of that. But if people know if anybody published a bunch of clips of that, or if someone has the full interview, info@davidpakman.com. Good sirs, please email that to me. I would like to take a look at that. Okay. So we've gotten the Channel Ryan interview out of the way. And then lastly, oh yeah, check this out. So this is Fox News host Steve Doocy. That's not this guy, but you're going to see a momentarily. This guy, multiple times he misstates the number of COVID deaths in the United States. Now, the real number in the U.S. is 603,000. For some reason, Steve Doocy thinks that it's 52,000. And then he's like, and 33,000 of them are in New York, and it doesn't eat New York City, and it doesn't compute wait a second, 60% of all COVID deaths are just in New York City. None of it makes any sense. Look at this. And it's not even clear to me whether he realizes he's making no sense.
Think about it this way, folks. Here in the United States of America, 52,000 Americans have died from COVID. 52.
And then did you guys notice this other guy goes, how does no one react to the fact that that's obviously the wrong number? Look at this.
United States of America, 52,000 Americans have died from COVID. 52,000. I was shocked to see that 33,000 of them actually lived here in New York City.
What? I don't know. Look at his. He was very surprised. I was surprised to hear these numbers, and then it keeps getting worse. Look at this.
Which is shocking.
This is the moment where I think, hold on, right? This is the moment where someone might be off screen saying what you're saying is crazy. Let's see that in real time again. I'm imagining in my mind that someone off to the side is like,
here in New York City, which is shocking. 2 million Americans have been impacted. So
2 million Americans have been impacted. Well, let's see. 33 million people have had the virus. Somehow only 2 million have been impacted. This is insane. This is a guy who's been covering the pandemic for 14 months. Did I hear that right? He said, oh my God. He says 2 million have been impacted. How do you get that? 33 million people have had it.
Here in New York City, which is shocking. 2 million Americans have been impacted. So
what?
How did it come to infect the entire planet?
Now they cut to this guy, and I don't know if this guy is like, what on earth is Doocy talking? Doocy, Peter Doocy, Steve Doocy. What on earth is he talking about? So let me just watch it once more in total. It is unbelievable.
Think about it this way, folks. Here in the United States of America, 52,000 Americans have died from COVID. 52,000. I was shocked to see that 33,000 of them actually lived here in New York City, which is shocking. 2 million Americans have been impacted. So how did it come to infect the entire planet?
Right. And what's funny is that all of this is just a lead up to like a lab leak conspiracy, because the title down here is investigating the origins of COVID-19. So where this is going. Unbelievable. Why? How? And by the way, if the dramatically falsely low numbers he gave are shocking, what would he think if he saw the real numbers, right? Like if he's shocked that 52,000 people died and 2 million were affected, what would he think if he learned that 603,000 people died and 33 million plus all of their families were affected? It's all weird. It's all very, very weird. Okay, people are telling me, what am I missing about this? People are mad. What did I do wrong, guys? I see people in Twitch chat furious with me. I don't even know what's going on. Okay, let's continue. Other super chats coming in. Shouldn't Channel be interviewing him on his golden toilet? All the better to appreciate the massive dumps. Yeah, not a bad idea. The etymology of butthurt comes from spanking. It doesn't have homophobic origins, but instead child abuse origins. Oh, all right. Well, I don't like it anyway. Maybe you should copy Newsmax's budget setup. Yeah. Does anyone really think Mike Pillow quit stimulants? I don't know. That's a great question, though. Okay, let me say thank you to a few more people. User Give Me Your Milk Please has been subscribed for 10 months via Twitch Prime. Also want to say thanks to Kyoko for the Twitch subscription. Bjarn Dragon has subscribed. Alice has subscribed. And It's Future Man has subscribed. That puts us at 26. And then just as a reminder, grab one of those memberships at joinpacman.com. If you want to know more about the award-winning bonus show, the best way to do it is to get such a subscription at joinpacman.com. And I will thank you live on stream if you do that. We do have a discount code. It's completely immoral. It's so cheap that our lawyer, accountant, a group yoga instructor, Peloton coach, and all of our staff say don't do it, but we're offering it. And that code is immoral21. The code immoral21 chops like, I think it's in, I don't even want to say, I think it's like 70% off the cost of a membership. And I'll thank every single person who uses it. I don't even care. I thank everybody who signs up. And of course, remember, if you have Amazon Prime, make sure you are signed up to one channel for free via Twitch Prime. This is $5 Amazon gives you. If you don't use it, it stays in Jeff Bezos's pocket. None of us want that, okay? So remember, link Amazon to Twitch. Give it to someone, right? Even if you give it to Chris Vosh or Mike from Jersey or the Eggman or Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell II or whoever, just make sure you're not leaving the money with Bezos. That's important. And on that note, Darth Bane has just re-upped their Twitch sub for 22 months in a row. 22 months in a row. Unbelievable. Also thanks to JR Dubs, as well as Kekaroni Pizza, who have signed up, putting us at 29. 22 months, yeah, that's like 5 years, right? That's a long time. It's a really long time. All right, let me get to some voicemails. Let's see what I've got. What do I have today? David, okay, I'm just glancing at what I have. Okay, here's someone works with a COVID denier. Let's see.
Hey, David. I was just speaking with a coworker earlier this afternoon, and basically he was making the allegation that COVID is no different than ammonia, and that
ammonia?
Within the past 12 years, so since 2007, there have been up cases of ammonia.
He's saying ammonia, right?
Building. Do you think this is a false equivalency?
Yeah, I COVID and ammonia are two different things. Totally different. Yep. No, he's definitely wrong. That's a false equivalency. Okay. Question about UFOs.
Hi, Dave. This is Steve in San Diego, and I am calling you out on your lack of coverage of the biggest story in the history of humanity. UFOs or UAPs are real. Where is your coverage? Where is your commentary? This is the biggest story ever, man. You are asleep at the wheel if you're not on it, okay? So, 60 Minutes, New York Times.
Yeah, I've already commented on the 60 Minutes story. All right, let's see what else we've got. Uh-oh. I think I know who this is.
Hi, David. This is Ashley again. So I was just talking to some people, and I noticed that some people here don't understand that there's people that are protecting them, and it's like, how do you is the only work that somebody does religious, knowing that there's other people in the world who don't share the same religion, and knowing that they're overweight and there's some people in the world who are starving? How do these people not think that
pretty prescient? Yeah.
Somebody's not going to hurt them?
Right.
They go through their day every day, where they're so racist, and they surround themselves with other racist people who only treat them nicely, who are never rude to them, and they just live in their own little bubble where they're protected, and they don't understand how anybody could feel differently about them, or, because nobody's ever treated them badly. They've never been scared for their lives. And they'll just say stuff like, well, nobody fights for our country and everything like that. And
there you go.
They're just there, and nobody's protecting them, and this is just how we get to live.
Right.
This is how the world is letting us live. I mean, it's the most ignorant thing I've ever heard in my life, that you can be completely freaking useless and have people want you to live.
Yeah. No, she's making a lot of sense. I know exactly what she means, and that's really well said, and I really couldn't have said it better myself. That absolutely makes sense. Okay, let's move on. What else? There's a lot here. I'm pre-screening by looking through the transcripts. Steve from Colombia. Oh, here's a clip about me capitalizing on the YouTube Twitch drama. Let's take a listen to that.
Hey, what's up, David? So I was just watching your stream today, and I saw you kind of going over all the drama. And I'm only 5 or so minutes into you playing clips and stuff, but you were talking.
I've got it cranked up as loud as it goes. This guy's just really quiet.
Talking about how you could really capitalize on it if you were good at drama. And I just wanted to say that, I really respect you being the objective commentator that you are. I really come to you for most of my news, honestly, because I 9 times out of 10, I'm getting a very, very unbiased take. You really, when you talk about and explain things, you explain it very well and come from it you say what's right and what's the right move, but you also tell us what's realistic, and you don't go too far wonky left.
Okay, all right. It's very, very low. So I think he likes that I don't do the drama stuff. Okay, that's fair. I think that's a fair point. Okay, let's see what else. Seeing if I have anything else interesting for you guys. That may sort of be it. Oh, here's one more. Here's more philosophy with Ashley. Hold on.
Oh, about the, what were you saying about the statutory rape? I felt like in high school, a lot of girls were getting raped and stuff like that. And I don't necessarily think that it's very conducive to educational atmosphere to be telling your peers about this kind of stuff. I really think you should go to a professional, because after the 3rd time somebody told me that somebody raped them.
What is she talking about? Girls were getting grants? Grants to do what?
I just walked up to the guy and I kicked him in the fucking nuts until he pissed blood.
Okay, we're moving on. Whoa, okay. We're moving off of that one. We're moving off of that one. Jeez, holy shit. This is crazy. All right, let's just keep moving. Here's an unknown caller with transcript not available. This is sort of like roulette. Let's listen. Oh, it seems like it's just literally a silent voicemail. Okay, that's why there's no transcript. That makes sense. All right, good. So we've gotten that. Let me see if I have anything else here. Caller from Lakeland, Florida. Every caller we've ever had from Lakeland is completely off the wall. Anybody want to listen to caller from Lakeland? I don't think this is Bob from Lakeland. Yeah, let's see, because Lakeland is a... Here we go. Let's see.
Hello, David. My name is Keno Hicks. I live in Lakeland, Florida. For 50 years, I'm 72 years old. For 50 years, I was a Republican, and now I switched over to the Green Party, and I aspire to be a spokesman for the Green Party.
I already like this. I'm already liking this Florida man.
And in this infrastructure, I'm watching, it's Friday, 21st of May, and I'm watching your program right now on Free Speech TV at 7.
I know some people are disappointed that this guy sounds normal, but I like it.
7:30 in the morning. In infrastructure, there's a woman, Nomi Prins, M-O-M-I, last name P-R-I-N-S. She was on Book TV 2 or 3 years ago. She's written a book of how there should be an infrastructure bank in the United States where regular citizens can buy stocks from it or bonds from it, and instead of corporations running it, and money can be funneled into infrastructure. Especially, we need a high-speed train. As a spokesperson for the Green Party, I advocate high-speed.
It's funny because he started the voicemail by saying he would like to become a spokesperson for the Green Party, and now I think he's saying as a spokesperson for the Green Party. He must have gotten hired during the voicemail.
Train system be put in place as soon as possible, but please consider having her as a person to interview.
All right.
And her book, at least talk about her book and the idea of so the Green Party, please be a spokesperson for me, Keno Hicks in Lakeland, Florida, as a spokesperson for the Green Party, calling for an infrastructure bank.
Love it.
As outlined by Nomi Prins. So there will be other things too. I will ask. Now call me at area code 86.
Oh, okay. And then we're not going to do that. Okay. He called back a couple times, but I think we're not going to go to that. All right. That's interesting. That's not interesting. That's not bad. Not a crazy person from Lakeland, Florida. And let me see if I have anything else. Oh, he called back with his Genesis story. He actually gives his Genesis story. Listen to this. This seems interesting.
Hello, David. This is Keno Hicks once again. I don't want to be a nuisance, but I got a lot of information to share. My new name will be the Bamboo Beatnik.
There you go, the Bamboo Beatnik. We don't even have to come up with a nickname now. We've got one.
My mother's side was American Indians. I appear to be a white body, but my mother's side of the family were American Indians. And in American Indians, you could choose a new name when you had a new chapter any time in your life when a new chapter was beginning. So me being in the Green Party now, I used to be Painted Buffalo, but a shaman had to shape shift, and so I'm going to convert into a plant.
I've got to interview this guy. This is a guy I have to interview. Now I think this is a guy who needs an hour probably on the show. This could be our Riley Martin from the Howard Stern show.
Bamboo, and now I'm going to be the Bamboo Beatnik. So hope we can make good music together and making this a better world. Bye.
He's going to need a primetime special. Yep. That's a genius caller. That's good. Okay. So we've got that. See, look at what we're coming across here. And then there's only a couple left. Let's see what else I've got. Something about anti-aging vitamins. One more from Ashley, which we had to get away from the last one, but let's just see.
I just wanted to call about in response to deprogramming Trumpists. I liked your method of using like sound and stuff to kind of like spin off of the excitement or whatnot, or like the vibe that American Trumpists have. Like I think that like competing with him somehow, like musically, or like promoting concerts or something rock and roll, something that's like not really like that relevant to him, but like maybe more relevant to his supporters.
This is about deprogramming Trumpists, right?
Something that's like more beneficial and optimistic. I think those stick with those things. Definitely something optimistic because it's just kind of like a soul-sucking power, and I think that what these people need is to know their own strengths and abilities, and that maybe there's something good inside of them that's, unique.
I don't know what's going on, so I'm going to move on. And then just 5 more to look at. Someone doesn't want the garden being shown. Listen to this. Someone's angry about the garden.
David, why are you showing us the garden so much?
Right.
Please stop. Otherwise, I love the show. So
see, this is what makes it tough about doing a show. No, I show a garden, people love it, and then someone calls in and they're like, "Do not show that garden anymore." There's nothing that would be too trivial or too inoffensive. Someone will call in and be mad about it, even if most people like it. Okay. Here's a caller about the Chick-fil-A sauces. I'm interested in this because I've never been to a Chick-fil-A, and I want to understand what's going on at Chick-fil-A with these sauces. Let's listen.
Hey, David. Was just listening to the show. Caught the segment about the Chick-fil-A with the sauces. That's great. They're blaming Biden for the lack of sauces, the shortage of sauce. Anyway, I've been to Chick-fil-A. I just want to let you know they do have a damn good sandwich. They don't have the best sandwich. The best sandwich is the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
Is that true? I've never been to Popeyes either. That's a question for probably someone who's been to both.
If you got a Popeyes near you, I'd definitely recommend the Popeyes chicken sandwich. But Chick-fil-A does have decent food, so I don't know. I'm like you. I don't know what the need is for all the sauces. Maybe a little ketchup for your fries or something, or a little mayonnaise for your chicken sandwich. But I don't get it. Anyway, I just thought it was funny. All right.
All right. Let me see if I can find like Chick-fil-A menu. What does Chick-fil-A even have? Now, I'm not going to go, obviously, because of the entire homophobic stuff. And also, I don't even know where there is one. I just can't imagine even finding one of these locations. But let's see. Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit, Chick-fil-A chicken minis, an egg white grill, hash brown scramble burrito, hash brown scramble bowl. Oh, hold on. People can't see everything. There it is. Bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, sausage, egg, and cheese. What's the most calorically dense item here? The burrito, 700 calories. That's pretty strong. Sausage, egg, and cheese, bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage, egg, cheese muffin, a buttered biscuit, an English muffin, hash browns, Greek yogurt parfait, fruit cup. Okay, now these seem to be the sort of signature dishes. Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, Chick-fil-A deluxe, which looks like it has a slice of tomato and a slice of lettuce and cheese is the difference. Spicy chicken, spicy deluxe, grilled chicken, Chick-fil-A grilled chicken club, Chick-fil-A nuggets, grilled nuggets. That, you see these grill lines right here? Read Michael Pollan's books and you will learn how much science goes into those grill lines. It is an entire world of science. Chick-fil-A chicken strips, okay? Chick-fil-A Cool Wrap. Is this the throwaway is this the throwaway healthy item that they have on the menu? Okay, then they've got some salads, a market salad, waffle fries, fruit cup, side salad, mac and cheese, chicken noodle soup, kale crunch. I would not think to go to a Chick-fil-A and get a chicken noodle soup. Greek yogurt parfait, waffle potatoes, buddy fruits, applesauce. Ooh, the applesauce looks all right. I'm not gonna lie. Nuggets kids meal. Okay, this doesn't seem that interesting. I don't know. Maybe I know I haven't been to a fast food place in 20 years. Maybe I just don't get it anymore. Gallon beverages. I would get one of those maybe just for visual comedy. And the 5-pound bag of ice. It would be funny to go there and only get a bunch of bags of ice. All right, so let's see what the infamous... Is this considered a cup right here? Like, are one of these considered a cup? Barbecue sauce. Chick-fil-A sauce. Let's see what's in it. Soybean oil. God, I love soybean oil. The top ingredients are soybean oil, sugar, barbecue sauce, which itself is tomato paste and corn syrup. Oh, my God. Spices, water, mustard seed, turmeric, distilled vinegar, egg yolk. Man, this is wild. Now I remember why I haven't been to any of these places for a long time. Okay. All right, let me see what other sauces. Garden herb, honey mustard, and you can get honey roasted barbecue sauce, Polynesian sauce. Oh, that's interesting. The Polynesian sauce, instead of being mostly soybean oil with some sugar, is mostly sugar with some soybean oil and corn syrup. Wow. This is wild. So, like, where's the flavoring? I guess it's just... It's the natural flavor, which they don't even... It's not even broken down further. This is Joe Biden's America. Can you guys imagine? Tragedy. All right, so that's Chick-fil-A. Just to be thorough... Let's look at the Popeyes menu. I've also not been to Popeyes. Okay. Family feasts, chicken sandwich, signature chicken, handcrafted tenders, family meals, seafood, beverages, and desserts. Let's look at signature chicken. 2-piece chicken meal, 3-piece chicken meal, 4-piece chicken meal, 2,000 calories. Holy shit. 16-piece. Okay. I mean, to be totally frank, I'd probably go, if I had to choose one of these, I'm probably going to Popeyes. Maybe we need a poll. I don't know. But if, like, I had no choice, I'm probably going to Popeyes. That's my instinct from looking at that. People are furious. Okay. All right. Let me say thank you to Dan Martinez, who just signed up at joinpacman.com. Anna Piccirillo just signed up at joinpacman.com. And Axel Resendez just signed up at joinpacman.com. Thanks to to all three of you. And then I also want to say thank you to some people who signed up via Twitch, including Thomas the Promise, Duke Boy, X Ash, G With, CAW. Hold on, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kildactyl is number 6. Yeah. 6 and 32 puts us at 38. Love it. Love it. Okay. Very good. Let's look at some other super chats that are coming in as we wait for Joe Biden here. Dariten says, U.S. food labeling is a joke. Spices? Cheers, bro. Yeah, I know. Fadeaway says, David Pacman, world famous culinary elitist. You know, I don't think that that's what it is. There's people who are like, oh, David, a lot of people can't afford, blah, blah, blah. Let me give you guys some examples. Hold on. Olive Garden menu with prices. I'm going to make a point right here. Okay. Here's 2 places. Okay. Olive Garden and an actual Italian place that when I lived in this neighborhood in New York, I would go to all the time. Okay. Let's compare prices. And I think maybe people will be surprised. Maybe they will not be surprised. I don't know. No, I can't. Let's see if I can do New York City Olive Garden menu prices. Here we go. Okay. So these are relatively close to each other. Let's look at the menu and see whether there's actually, whether this is a price thing. Okay. Classic entrees at Olive Garden. Chicken Alfredo, $24. Chicken and shrimp carbonara, $27. Chicken Parmigiana, $24. The Tour of Italy, $27. Okay, good. Now, this is a place that I used to love when I was in this neighborhood in New York City, Il Corralo Trattoria. It's not too far. I mean, it's not in the same neighborhood as that Olive Garden. Let's look at the menu. Now, this is elitist. It's too expensive and blah, 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 blah. Okay? Let's take a look at the prices. Rigatoni, $12. Wow. Vegetable farfalle, $12. Spaghetti Giuseppe, $12. So it's half the price. Now, it's probably fewer calories. I mean, look at the, 1,500, 1,400 calories, 1,600 calories. It's probably fewer calories, but it's half the price. It's half the price. So I never bought into, I think it's more of a cultural issue than it is a financial issue, because very often these places are not cheap. Oh, people were saying that's lunch. Hold on. Okay. All right. So let's look at the dinner. That's lunch specials. Okay, fine. Let's look at veggie pastas. Okay, $15. It's it's not that different. $15, $13, $13. These are now full entree dinner prices. $14, $13. I'm telling you guys, it's I don't understand why anyone goes to Olive Garden when you have this. This is one of my favorite spots from the neighborhood, and it's quite literally half the prices. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Let's move on. We're getting off of it, and that's New York City. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right, let's get off of this, please. Mike says, David, we need you to break your moratorium on fast food eating and just spend an entire show eating and evaluating fast food items. I see no opportunity to do that. Edward says, before I stopped eating chicken, the Popeye's chicken sandwich was my way to go. It was my go-to. So good, too good. Drive-through line around the block. Love the content, Deepak. Thanks for your work. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, and by the way, okay, just to get back, what happened there? That was weird. People saying, but at Olive Garden, you get unlimited breadsticks. Il Corralo gives you unlimited bread as well. I mean, I don't know how much you're really going to have, but I've been there. And, with a few people, they refill the bread 3 times. It's like, how much bread are you really going to eat? All right. Thank you. Let's get back to where we were, which was just looking at a few last super chat voicemails. Okay. Oh, there's people calling in during the stream trying to get on. Like this guy. Let's listen to this.
Hi, David. I don't know if you can hear me on this one or if it will give a transcript this time. I think mine was the silent one. My phone's a little broken. What I was saying, though, is you should definitely, I don't know if you covered it or not, but show the clip of Representative Tim Ryan.
We did.
Tearing into the Republicans yesterday.
Yep, we did. We aired that. Yep, that was a good clip. And Tim Ryan's been a guest on this program, and he's an all around good guy. Okay, next thing I'm going to do. I had a couple of weeks ago, maybe, I had a request to review a particular wacky interview from years ago to see what I thought of it. And we looked at the Charles Butler interview. Okay. I had a request to do that again. I'm going to give you guys 2 choices between, oh no, not this. 2 choices between old interviews that we're going to review. Let me take a look here. Whoa. Okay, where were these playlists? Oh, no. Playlist doesn't seem to be here. Oh, man, the playlist isn't here. Okay, that's not going to work then. Okay, is there a particular wacky old interview that you think would be the top candidate to review? And this can include any of the wacky ones. It could be any one of the ones with the Westboro Baptist Church, or Brian Fisher, or some of the Gamergate wackiness, or I don't even know. I would review any old interview if people want. Let's see if I can even get that playlist. Jesse Lee Peterson. Oh, you know what might be funny, actually? The first time I was on Jesse Lee Peterson's show, because people have seen the new one, but there's actually an older one. Let's see, 2 years ago, 4 years ago. Oh, yeah. I don't even remember this one. Let's check this out. Okay, this will be interesting. I have not seen this in a really long time.
A lot of you remember the Dirty Women March that happened the day after President Trump's inauguration, where you have dirty women like Madonna and others. At least Madonna said she dreamed of or thought of blowing up the White House, and they had this judge, this woman, judge, last name Judge, who sounded like she was on PCP or something. Ashley Judge sounded like she was on drugs. It was, but it brought out the dirty women of America. Some people were saying that that was sponsored by George Soros and others, and that people were being paid to be there. I have with me David Pakman, host and executive producer of the national syndicated David Pakman Show, a radio show with a popular podcast and YouTube channel.
Already good.
David said, he just agreed with that. He wrote an article with the Huffington Post, Trumpist bamboozled by alternative facts. He says, Dirty Women March, he didn't call it dirty, but I do. Dirty Women March protesters were not paid by George Soros and others. And I'm Skyping with David. David, good morning, sir. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious, ad hominems aside, like dirty women, that doesn't even make sense to engage on that. But when you say some people are saying that the protesters were paid, I mean, I'd like to hear what people are saying that. Specifically, who is saying that?
When you hear some of the conservative leadership and conservative media saying that they were paid to protest, I do know that they...
But who? Who is that?
I do know that there are times when protesters are paid to be there. I used to work for a union at one time, and I used to, at one time, help organize the protest.
This is great because this is so long ago, I have no memory of how it went down.
Against conservatives or businesses, and so I do know how they operate. But it has been said, how do you know that they were not paid?
Jesse, I'm having a hard time believing we're even having this conversation on your program, because so far what you've said is, how do I know the protesters weren't paid?
Because in your article you say they were not.
Have said they were paid.
In your article,
and other protests you worked on years ago, according to you, would pay protesters. This is like if I say, hey, Donald Trump is beating Melania every night. And you say to me, well, how do you know that? And I say, can you disprove that Donald Trump is beating Melania every night? I mean, you're asking me to defend something which is the default. In other words, if you're making the extraordinary claim that protesters have been paid, provide some evidence. You haven't even named anybody.
In your article, you write that the Dirty Women March
I didn't
protesters,
write that.
well, you said women march, but they call themselves nasty women. And so I don't know what's the difference between dirty women and nasty. But you say that they were not paid. Since you wrote this and you're here to talk about that,
there's no evidence
how do you know that they were not
paid? This is what we call burden of proof, Jesse. And I would assume that you know this as someone who's been in this world for a long time. If I make an assertion that is not supported by fact, it is incumbent upon me to provide evidence. And again, you've presented no evidence that anyone was paid other than saying some protests you at some point worked on paid people, allegedly, and that there are some people who you will not name that say people were paid. That's not evidence.
It's not unusual nowadays. I remember when they had that protest in Ferguson, and all those radical liberals came out, the children of the lie, and they protested. And
for people who are wondering what he keeps coughing and hitting, he has a cough button there. That's what he's doing.
Later, they did not get paid, so they start protesting against the folks who had promised to pay them that they had not gotten paid. Remember the Black Lives Matter, the radical Black Lives Matter group and those folks?
I don't know. You're saying that people in Ferguson were protesting against those who said that they didn't get paid? I mean, I just don't.
whatever. I don't understand what you just said, but it has nothing to do with the Women's March. Again, if you can present any evidence that protesters were paid at the Women's March of January 21st, I would love to hear it.
I want to move on because of
you have no evidence. I mean,
I thought you had
there's just no evidence, right? So you're admitting you have no evidence.
David, I thought you had evidence that they were not paid. Apparently, you don't. Let me ask.
Evidence that something didn't happen. Isn't that the best? That's actually really common in a lot. Oh, look at this still image. It's actually really common that they're like, give me evidence that X did not happen. Well, that only applies to certain types of claims.
Last night, Milo.
So there's no evidence. There's just no. Okay, fair enough. We're moving on with no evidence.
Come down, David. Last night, Milo was scheduled to speak at UC Berkeley.
Milo.
And the radical.
Can we be happy we're beyond that?
Children of the lie came out of the woodwork and just created a riot. Setting fire, throwing rocks and stones at the buildings, and attacking supporters of Milo. What do you think about that?
I'm against any violence of that kind. I think that I don't even know why my opinion matters. I mean, I had nothing to do with that. I'm against starting fires, smashing windows, and using smoke bombs, which is what.
What would he expect me to say? I'm against the violence and the smoke bombs, but the fires I like.
I'm reading people did. I also, though, think that President Trump is stepping in a very dangerous direction by tweeting. He tweeted that because Milo didn't speak, he threatened to take away federal funding from UC Berkeley.
I love that.
It was a law enforcement decision to get Milo out for his own safety. So I think Trump should spend more time maybe reading, which it's not clear he does much of, and less time watching Fox News and tweeting a live commentary, because this was a law enforcement decision for Milo's own safety.
The reason that President Trump did that, because in America today, children or people who are on the side of good have been attacked and are being attacked over the last 8 years, because we had a far-left liberal socialist anti-white, anti-American president in the White House.
Yeah, we didn't have that. There was no more socialism under President Obama than under George W. Bush.
David,
I'm not understanding the logic. You're saying
hold on.
Trump tweeted threatening to take away funding from UC Berkeley because there are people who don't want to hear from Milo. I mean, again, if anybody's going to be mad at somebody at UC Berkeley, it should be with the police there, because it was their decision for Milo's safety that he not speak. Are you mad at UC Berkeley police, or who are you mad at, I guess?
UC Berkeley is against free speech, and because they receive taxpayer dollars, they have a responsibility to protect free speech.
So you're saying that the police are cracking down on free speech. That's a pretty strong anti-law enforcement point of view for someone like you to take, because it was the police decision, right?
When UC Berkeley are not protecting people like Milo and others, then the government has a right to withhold funding.
Oh, I thought that music was the Biden event. Oh my God! Oh, it's music in the okay.
They did protect him. They protected him as law enforcement professionals by getting him out of there. I mean, none of these arguments are making any sense, Jesse.
Thank God that Donald Trump is doing that. The greatest president on this side of heaven. Hold on, a moment, David. Hold on.
Oh my God. Let's see him reintroduce me now. What a weird interview.
So I'm Skyping with David Patman, and he wrote an article in the Huffington Post, Trumpists Bamboozled by Alternative Facts. He says Women's March protesters were not paid, and it's been written in Breitbart and other media sources.
Now remember, of course, that there's two separate stories here, which was, did George Soros at a sort of organizational level fund an organization that gave money to Black Lives Matter, versus were individual protesters paid? And I'm sure you guys in the audience know these are two completely different questions.
It's known that George Soros and others have paid for these rallies and supported these rallies and paid these folks, Occupy Wall Street, the so-called mothers for the movement. Remember those black women who failed their sons, like Trayvon Martin and others, and now their sons are dead, and they want to blame it on so-called racism? Black Lives Mothers movement, Black Lives Matter. So it's known that George Soros and others are paid.
I like how he calls them Zorros.
Paid these folks to go out and be destructive.
Or Zorro. Do you guys remember Zorro? That was an okay show.
The Women's March, that Dirty Women's March website, had a huge list of partners, including Planned Parenthood, environmentalists, feminists, anti-gun group, Muslims, Occupy Wall Street, radical homosexuals, and transgenders.
What's funny is I had many critiques of the Women's March, including that they said Jewish women weren't intersectional enough to be in the leadership and all of this other crazy stuff. And a lot of it quite anti-Semitic. But he just goes down these very strange paths.
Unions, NAACP, the National Urban League. I wanted to ask, were there any good and decent and honest organizations that supported the Dirty Women's March?
Listen, Jesse, that's a sort of bogus question. Obviously, you don't think that those organizations are good, and I'm not going to be able to convince you that they are. I think here's the key point. The stories about George Soros paying protesters have been widely debunked.
I need you to answer that question for me. Were there any good and decent organizations supporting the Dirty Women March?
It's a silly question because the organizations you listed, I think, are good, but you don't. So where will that conversation get us? Here's the main point. You listed Breitbart, etc. All of those allegations go back to an article written by Azra Nomani, which appeared on the New York Times website. She was asked directly after Breitbart and all of the other right-wing news sites said, look, Soros paid them. Do you think that these protesters were paid to protest? The writer of the article said, quote, I definitely do not conclude that the people marching were paid to do so. Full stop. That's it.
And that says what to you? That's just
interpret that for us, David. When the writer said, I cannot conclude the protesters were paid, what did that mean to you when the writer said that?
Other personal opinion, and how do you know that that person is telling the truth?
Jesse,
David, the
it's
point
not
is,
another person's opinion.
David, the point is, you do not, David, I don't want to win.
Said that the protesters were
David,
paid.
Breitbart
got that from Azra Nomani, who says she doesn't believe that the protesters were paid. So let me see if I can explain this. By citing Breitbart, you're citing Azra Nomani, who doesn't think the protesters were paid.
She doesn't think that they were.
It's literally Groundhog's Day today, but I feel like I'm in the movie Groundhog's Day here.
David,
you're citing someone who doesn't believe anybody was paid.
David, I'm turning your mic off. You cannot speak over me.
I think we might have a delay. I can't hear you.
We're going to have
I guess you're going Bill O'Reilly on me there.
David, we need to have a conversation. You can't speak. We're running out of time. And every time I
running out of time
attempt to ask a question,
it's shocking that there's a schedule to this insanity.
Present something to you, you're just running off at the mouth. It doesn't work that way here.
That's because of your Skype configuration.
No, it's not. It's not that. We've not had that problem any other time. At any other time, I want to know what is your proof that. First, let me ask this because I wanted to ask you about Donald Trump. Did you vote for Donald Trump? You support President Trump?
What do you think?
I don't know. I don't want to assume as you're doing about the Dirty March, the Women's Dirty March rally. Did you support him?
No, I did not.
And why not?
Oh, there's no policies of Trump's other than some very minor overlaps with Bernie Sanders that I agree with him on.
And so you want to believe that George, because you're one of them, you want to believe that George Soros and others did not support or pay protesters at the Dirty March rally. You have no proof at all that they were not paid, but yet you wrote an article saying that they were not paid.
Jesse, do you understand the difference between saying they weren't paid and saying there's no evidence they were paid? Is that a difference that you understand conceptually?
I cited your source, Breitbart and others who have said that they were paid. Do you agree with that the left is more violent and oppressive than the right?
No, I don't, Jesse.
And why not?
Because there's no evidence to suggest that.
So you have not seen the violence and protest, for example, on the inauguration day of President Donald Trump.
Did he say foreign Zapple?
There were violence. People were set in at least one car, limousine was set on fire there in Washington, D.C. and other areas. Did you see that violence?
I feel like this is a clinic in logical fallacies. Do you understand how
Did you
pointing
see
to
that
one
happen?
incident of violence does not allow us to make any generalizations about whether liberals or conservatives have a higher or lower tendency towards violence? Is that, again, conceptually, is that something you understand?
Do you remember when the Tea Party rallies were happening?
I generally remember, yeah.
There were no violence.
That's
None.
not true. There was
Zero.
plenty of violence.
No,
but again, if I were to say
the left.
Objectively, conservatives are more violent because I can point to one incident of Tea Party violence, I would be committing the same logical fallacy you're committing. I'm having a really hard time believing this is a serious conversation.
You had the children of the left coming out and attacking the Tea Party and pretending that it was members of the Tea Party itself, just as we saw during the presidential campaign with President Trump and Hillary Clinton. You had the children of the left,
Hold on a second. I think I just heard a test. Okay, that may be starting soon. Okay.
Going to President Trump's rallies and attacking the supporters, but the liberal media reported it as though.
Weird. I guess that's part of this recording.
Oh, it was supporters of Trump. And you're in denial about that.
Oh, it's his music.
Your mic's cutting in and out, Jesse. I don't know if there was a question in there.
Let me take a break. Back in a moment.
All right. I think we can get away from it. I mean, you guys kind of he doesn't kick me off. I don't. Well, actually, does he kick me off during this show? Oh, that might be it. Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't. I guess that's just it. Let's see what his commentary was.
People on the right, on the side of good, acting in that way. So you're being dishonest.
No, what you're doing is intellectually dishonest.
Oh, I'm on stuff.
You've never seen people on the right on the side of good, which allows you to take anyone on the right who's violent and you say, well, they're not on the side of good, so they don't count. I mean, these are really sort of like amateurish distractions that you use.
David, you're not, just as you're not giving us any proof that the Dirty Women March protesters were not paid. You're not being honest in your discussion.
Hey, guys, can you prove to me that Jesse didn't pay me to be on the show? Prove that he didn't pay, right? How do you do that?
In your dialogue now.
No, sorry, Jesse. I think you just don't understand burden of proof.
And you're not being honest about the Skype situation.
A lot of lies about Skype.
You have no problems happening there. But I appreciate you coming on. You are a typical liberal, and we got what we expected from you.
I think that we certainly got what we expected from you. That's for sure. No facts, misunderstanding of the burden of proof.
And you're just honest about the whole dialogue. Thank you for coming on, man.
Not dishonest. Prove it.
Thanks, David.
What a mess.
Interview. What do you think about it?
It felt really shallow.
Yeah, I sure did.
This kid, by the way, is a huge fan of mine who was desperate to get a picture when it's so funny to see this kid pop up. First person that I see when I go to Jesse's studio is this guy who wants pictures with me. Oh my goodness. Let's finish this up.
That it was just, he got hung up on this paid, unpaid, and then he's citing hate crimes, which are a total farce. With this, because you were talking about the left being more hateful and violent than the right, and he cited hate crimes or something, and then he cited people who are toting guns, and calling that violence. That didn't make any sense to me.
Also, I noticed he didn't want to move the conversation forward.
Right.
Yeah.
He just wanted to stay with that only for whatever reason.
Well, he's a facts type of a guy. He likes to gather information.
Wow, what an attack. What a brutal attack.
And he didn't sound like he wanted to get into why he didn't support Trump, why he thought that those organizations were good.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
All right, and perfectly timed.
Of Korea.
Let's hear from Joe Biden. And by the way, thank you. Let's see who I can thank real quick. Thanks to John Cuppy. David Ketchup just gifted 5 subs. Dutchy Fan is number 7, Twitch sub. Jaslyn Knight gifted another one, number 8. M. Gwynee, number 9. A lot of people here I missed, and I apologize.
Hello, please be seated. Today, I've been honored to welcome to the White House President Moon, and I got an opportunity to spend some private time with him as well as with our delegations. It's only the second head of state to visit and the White House since I've been president, and it's been a real joy. It's a reflection of how much we value the 70-year alliance with the Republic of Korea and how essential we know the relations is to the United States, the future of the Indo-Pacific region, and quite frankly, to the world. Today has been particularly special because this afternoon, in addition to our bilateral meetings, President Moon participated in a ceremony right in this room that awarding the Medal of Honor to a veteran of the Korean War, a true American hero, Colonel Ralph Puckett Jr. And I want to thank you again, Mr. President, for joining us. It was special. I don't know that there's ever been an award of the Medal of Honor with the head of state of the country where the award was won. It meant a great deal to me and to the family and to our country. And but today not only been an affirmation of our shared history of sacrifice that binds the Republic of Korea and the United States together.
Well, careful there.
It's a commitment to expanding cooperation.
Don't want to say North Korea.
Shaping our shared future in accordance with our democratic values that have made our nation strong and agile and highly competitive in the 21st century's economies. The Republic of Korea and the United States are both nations built on innovation, and we must both meet the challenges facing us today and look to what is possible for tomorrow. Our partnership is grounded on our ironclad commitment to shared security. Our alliance has long been the linchpin of peace, security, prosperity, and the region growing more prominent and us being together. I was grateful that our two nations were able to quickly conclude a new cost-sharing agreement for forces in Korea in March, which will benefit both our peoples. And I thank again the President for that agreement. Today, we made important progress on a range of issues. We spoke about the shared approach to the Democratic People's Republic in Korea and continuing threat of the DPRK's nuclear and missile programs. My team consulted closely with President Moon's team throughout the process of our DPRK review, and we both are deeply concerned about the situation. Our two nations also share a willingness to engage diplomatically with the DPRK, to take pragmatic...
Get ready for right-wingers to say Biden's going to war with North Korea.
...our ultimate goal of denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Today, I affirm to President Moon that the United States will proceed in close consultation with the Republic of Korea in our strategy and our approach. And to help drive all these efforts, I'm pleased to announce that Ambassador Sung Kim, a career diplomat and with deep policy expertise, will serve as the U.S. Special Envoy for the DPRK. Ambassador Kim, you're here somewhere today. Stand up, will you? Thank you for being willing to do this.
There you go.
Thank you for taking on this important role. We appreciate it very much. The U.S.-ROK partnership also extends beyond the goals of the Peninsula. They address issues of regional and global concern, through stronger cooperation with partners in the region, including the ASEAN, the Quad, and trilateral cooperation with Japan. The multilateral cooperation is particularly important to coordinate an approach to the situation that exists in Burma as we work to pressure the junta to restore democracy for the people of Burma, and to address issues critical to regional stability, such as maintaining freedom of navigation in the South China Sea and preserving peace and stability across the Taiwan Straits. Today, we also discussed ways that the Republic of Korea and the United States will work together to address the challenges of our time, beginning with our efforts to end the COVID-19 pandemic globally. We agreed to establish a comprehensive vaccine partnership to expand the manufacture of vaccines that have been approved safe and effective, and we can scale up global vaccine supplies. We'll strengthen our ability to fight the pandemic and respond to future biological threats. When it comes to fighting climate change, the Republic of Korea and the United States are committed to making ambitious 2030 targets aligned with the effort to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions no later than 2050. And we're going to work together both to mobilize climate finance for developing countries and to make sure that international financing is aligned to promote our climate goals. We also talked about how to harness our nation's technological advantages to ensure the Republic of Korea and the United States are cooperating to shape emerging technologies around our shared value system. This includes everything from strengthening our cybersecurity to deepening our cooperation to build an open, secure G5 network, or 5G network, I should say. I'm talking about the G5. It's another organization.
Uh-oh.
I'm thinking organization, Mr. President.
That's going to be the top story on Hannity
Secure
tonight.
The 5G networks. And I'm particularly gratified that so many leading South Korean companies see the benefits of investing in the United States, including this morning's announcement of more than $25 billion in new investments from Samsung, Hyundai, SK, and LG. I understand the executives of those companies here. Would you please stand up? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think we'll do great work together. These new investments are going to create thousands of good-paying jobs and jobs of the future right here in the United States. And they're going to help fortify and secure the supply chains for things like semiconductors and electric batteries. I know, as I said, that the CEOs made the effort not only to do this, but to be here today. And again, I thank them for being here. I thank you for making the investments in our future and yours. Finally, I want to note that yesterday I had the honor of signing into law the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act to help Americans of Asian descent from having to live in fear just walking down the streets of the United States. Quite frankly, I've been ashamed at the way some Americans have responded.
It is shameful.
And there's a long history.
Trump is not going to like that.
Contributions of Asian Americans being overlooked, forgotten, and ignored. And I affirm to President Moon today what I said yesterday, that we're committing and we're going to stay committed to stopping the hatred based on this bias. I promise you. Our people share a long history. Our soldiers have fought alongside one another. Our scientists work side by side in both our countries. Our students study together, share ideas, and seed new opportunities for future collaboration. And our people-to-people and cultural connections are only growing. And K-pop fans are universal. Now, I can tell those who laughed know what I'm talking about. Well, anyway, I'll get back to that later. Anyway. The Korean actress took home an Oscar for supporting actors this year, following up on the 4 Oscar wins for the movie Parasite last year. And so our two countries, our two nations have the tools and the deep connections that we need to make even stronger alliances and stronger cooperation. And I want to thank you again for the meetings today, Mr. President, particularly our long private meeting. I appreciated that a great deal. And I'm looking forward to working closely with you and your team as we expand and strengthen our efforts to shape the future together. And I mean that literally, to shape the future together. So thank you. Mr. President.
Honorable President Biden, Madam Vice President, I extend my deepest gratitude to you for your special hospitality and welcome. Today, leaders and delegates of Korea and the United States met each other's eye and had a dialogue. For the peoples of our two nations, this will give them hope for recovery from COVID-19, as well as a meaningful gift for celebrating the 139th anniversary of our diplomatic relations. President Biden and I had an awarding ceremony for the Medal of Honor to the Korean War veteran, one-on-one meeting, as well as an expanded summit. For many hours together, we've had a very frank dialogue like old friends as regards the promotion of democracy, inclusive growth, the strengthening of the middle class, climate change response, as well as many other areas. Two of us were able to see for ourselves that we had common interests and commitments. In particular, we reaffirmed the strength of the ROK-US alliance and confirmed the common vision for developing it into an even stronger one. During my visit this time, the trust that has been built up between President Biden and I will foster deeper friendship between our two peoples and lay a firm foundation that will undergird the sustainable development of the ROK-US alliance, and I say this with confidence. The most urgent common task that our two countries must undertake is achieving complete denuclearization and permanent peace on the Korean Peninsula. Recently, the Biden administration concluded its DPRK policy review, building on past agreements, including the Singapore Joint Statement, while taking a calibrated and practical approach to seeking diplomacy with North Korea, is indeed a welcome direction of the Biden administration's North Korea policy. During the course of the review, our two countries closely coordinated with each other in lockstep, which I note with much appreciation. Moreover, I welcome President Biden's appointment of Ambassador Sung Kim as Special Representative for North Korea policy. This reflects the firm commitment of the U.S. for exploring diplomacy and its readiness for dialogue with North Korea. I have high expectations, all the more as such a man of high caliber with expertise in the Korean Peninsula issues has been appointed. President Biden and I discussed the dialogues based on commitments made between the two Koreas and between the U.S. and North Korea are essential for making a peaceful Korean Peninsula. This is the belief that we were able to reaffirm. Moreover, President Biden also expressed his support for the inter-Korean dialogue and cooperation. Under close cooperation with the U.S., we will work to facilitate progress in inter-Korean relations so as to achieve a virtuous cycle with U.S. DPRK dialogue. Moving forward as well, Korea and the United States will continue close communication while exploring our North Korea approach through dialogue and diplomacy. On that, I expect a positive response from North Korea. When strong security is firmly in place, we can preserve and make peace. Two of us agreed to further reinforce our combined defense posture and reaffirmed our commitment to a conditions-based transition of wartime operational control. It is also with pleasure that I deliver the news on the termination of the revised missile guidelines. The signing of ROK-US Special Measures Agreement on burden sharing in the early days of the Biden administration displays for the world the robustness of our alliance as a symbolic and practical measure.
Today at the summit, President Biden and I decided to expand our cooperation in new emerging areas that are relevant to the changing times and landscape. First, to surmount COVID-19, our most urgent task, we pledge to pool our strength together. America's advanced technologies and Korea's production capabilities will be married to establish a comprehensive CORUS global vaccine partnership. Collaboration between our two countries will boost global vaccine supply and contribute to accelerating a complete ending of COVID-19. Through the global health security agenda, which aims to enhance infectious disease response capability, multilateral cooperation will be pursued as well. Under this broad framework of vaccine cooperation, illustrating the robust ROK-US alliance, an important announcement was made. President Biden pledged to supply vaccines to Korean servicemen. I thank you, Mr. President. This announcement of the U.S., I believe, extends the ROK-U.S. alliance to the field of health in a meaningful measure. Second, from semiconductors, EV batteries, pharmaceuticals to other cutting-edge manufacturing technology sectors, in an effort to build secure supply chains, we committed to work in close concert. Digital transformation is accelerating, and the areas of cutting-edge emerging technologies are gaining greater importance.
Remember when Trump would do these and he wouldn't even put the earpiece in? He would just he just wouldn't understand. He wouldn't even listen. It didn't matter.
Cooperation in civil space exploration, 6G, and green energy to secure global competitiveness. Furthermore, to jointly advance into overseas nuclear power plant markets, we decided to bolster our partnership. Third, in a bid to address climate change, we will further solidify coordination between our two countries. Our two nations are already spearheading global cooperation in climate change response. Last April, the U.S. hosted the Leaders Summit on Climate successfully. Korea, for its part, in next week, is hosting P4G Seoul Summit, once again trying to build the international community's collective will for climate change response. President Biden will participate in the P4G Seoul Summit next week virtually. I welcome his participation, which will certainly help us catalyze the international community to come together. President Biden and I participated in the ceremony for awarding a Medal of Honor to a Korean War veteran, Colonel Ralph Puckett Jr. Based on the ROK-U.S. alliance rooted in the noble sacrifices of our heroes, our two nations will usher in a new future together, without a doubt. Today's meetings between President Biden and myself, and between the U.S. and Korea, will mark another milestone for our bilateral cooperation towards a new era. President Biden has extended such warm hospitality, and I express my deepest gratitude once again. I look forward to our frequent communication and continued close consultation. Last but not least, yesterday, Israel and Hamas agreed on a ceasefire, which is indeed a relief. I appreciate President Biden's hard work and leadership in this regard. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the first question, I'm told, is Mary Alice Parker, ABC.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate it. What is your message to Democrats who want you to be more confrontational with Israel, and specifically to those that are saying that there should be an end to arms sales? I mean, do you recognize that there's been a shift, an evolution in your party, Mr. President, in the last 20 years on this issue? And I have a question for President Moon, but I can wait, or I can listen.
There is no shift in my commitment to the security of Israel, period. No shift, not at all. But I tell you what there is a shift in. The shift is that we still need a two-state solution. It is the only answer, And what I'm convinced of is that we can now move, as I did even before I was able to negotiate, before the ceasefire was negotiated, that I made it clear that I spoke with President Abbas. We're going to make sure that we are going to provide for security in the West Bank, and we renewed the...
Can you believe that this question was raised 45 seconds ago? Someone's already been banned for anti-Semitism in the chat. It's really a problem, left and right.
In Jerusalem, this intercommunal fighting that is by extremes on both sides, it has to end. It has to end. And I'm prepared to put together, and I'm going to attempt to put together, a major package with other nations who share our view to rebuild the homes, and without re-engaging, without providing Hamas the opportunity to rebuild their weapon systems, rebuild the Gaza, rebuild Gaza. And they need the help, and I'm committed to get that done. And so and I think that, my party still supports Israel. Let's get something straight here. Until the region says unequivocally they acknowledge the right of Israel to exist, as an independent Jewish state, there will be no peace.
Can I ask a question to President Moon? I'm curious if the two of you have offered any assurances behind the scenes to Taiwan, and if President Biden has pushed you to take a tougher stance when it comes to China's posture towards Taiwan.
Good luck.
Oh boy.
Well, fortunately, there wasn't such pressure. But as for peace and stability in Taiwan Strait, we agreed how important that region is. Especially considering the special characteristics between China and Taiwan, we decided to work more closely on this matter going forward. So we have a question from a Korean journalist over here. Yes, two from the left. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm Kang from Yonhap News. I have a question to both of the presidents here. As was mentioned by the former journalist, I understand that the Israel and Palestine issues is very important, but North Korea's nuclear issues is equally important. On your to-do list, what's the number that's given to the North Korean nuclear issue on your priority list, Mr. President Biden? And also to Mr. President Moon, in terms of your roadmap for resolving the nuclear issue in North Korea. I want to understand whether your time schedule actually matches and is equal to one another in terms of resolving the nuclear issues on the Korean Peninsula.
Wowza.
So to begin, under the new Biden administration, the DPRK policy review has been completed in a rather fast period of time. That means that the Biden administration puts a priority on its North Korea policy among its diplomatic tasks. And also in terms of reviewing its DPRK policy, there was a very close coordination as well as consultations between the United States and the Republic of Korea. So the principle of the negotiations towards North Korea has already been announced by the U.S. government. A very calibrated, practical, gradual, step-by-step manner, and very flexible. That is the approach that the current administration is aiming to adopt. So that is the common understanding that we have with the United States, and that we're going to continue to work forward on this. And in terms of the timeline for the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, there aren't any differences in terms of how we think about this. No differences in terms of our opinions.
I agree with what the President just said. Our goal is and remains complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. We want to make practical progress and increase security in the United States for the United States and our allies. You know, we closely studied what others have tried and what worked and what hasn't worked. And, you know, we're under no illusions how difficult this is, none whatsoever. And the past 4 administrations have not achieved the objective. It's an incredibly difficult objective. As we move forward, we're going to stay in very close coordination with our friends and our partners in the region, including President Moon. And we fully recognize that this is about our collective security in the Indo-Pacific region. And so, but total denuclearization is our objective and remains so.
All right.
Well, I get to the next question, huh? I'd like to ask the press a question, if I may. Nancy Cordes, CBS.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I have one question about North Korea and one question about Israel.
We've changed this one question thing, haven't we?
Two foreign policy questions. You have said in the past that you would not meet with Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea, without certain preconditions.
Yes.
What are those preconditions, and do you believe he would ever be able to meet them?
Well, what I never do is I never make a judgment what a man or woman is going to do or not do based on what they said. We'll see. If he made any commitment, then I would meet with him, and if there was a commitment on which we met. And the commitment has to be that there's discussion about his nuclear arsenal. And if it's merely a means by which, how do we de-escalate what they're doing? And so if that was the case, I would not meet unless there was some outline made that my Secretary of State and others would have negotiated as to how we would proceed. But what I would not do is I would not do what had been done in the recent past. I would not give him all that he's looking for as national, international recognition as legitimate, and
the photo op.
Give them what allowed him to move in the direction of appearing to be more, how can I say it, more serious about what he wasn't at all serious about. I'd have to know specifics, but the idea of never meeting with North Korea, I would make sure that my team had met with their counterparts, and I knew exactly what we were meeting on.
And then in the wake of all of your conversations this week, what is your relationship like now with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu? Do you have certain expectations that he will bolster the rights of the Palestinian people in some way? And if so, did you convey that to him in your conversations?
One of the reasons why we're able to get the ceasefire in 11 days, they didn't do what other people have done. I don't talk about what I tell people in private. I don't talk about what we negotiate in private.
Oh, man.
What I can assure you, though, is that the last time it took 56 days and then 6 months to get a ceasefire. I'm praying this ceasefire will hold. I take Bibi Netanyahu when he gives me his word. I take him at his word. He's never broken his word to me. And but what I've made clear is that it's essential. It's essential that the Palestinians on the West Bank be secured, that Abbas be recognized as the leader of the Palestinian people, which he is. Hamas is a terrorist organization. We've recognized that. But that doesn't mean we should not be in Gaza, rebuilding Gaza for all those innocent people who, in fact, have been hurt and have been collateral damage, including loss of homes and a whole range of other things, as well as insisting that Israeli citizens, whether they be Arab or Jew, are treated equally. Israeli citizens, and that's what was going on in Jerusalem, and so that has to come to an end. And the Prime Minister knows my views, and but the commitment that was given was immediately kept. From the very beginning, I told him what our objective was, that there needed to be a ceasefire, and he, in fact, kept his commitment in the time frame in which he said he would do it. Thank you. And by the way, I wasn't the only one that spoke to him. I looked down here, every major player on my team, from Secretary of Defense to Secretary of State, all the way down the line, and our National Security Advisor were in constant contact with their counterparts in Israel, in Egypt, and throughout the Middle East.
Right.
This was not something that was just done with a casual conversation between myself and Bibi. I have, presumptuous of me to say this, but Mr. President, but I think I've got a great team. And I spent a lot of time with El-Sisi on the phone in Egypt, and they've done a commendable job of bringing Hamas to the table and getting them to agree to a ceasefire as well. Thank you. Is that it?
Yes. Kind of an awkward dynamics here.
A lady. All ladies do not raise their hands.
Will a lady ask a question, please?
Do we not have female journalists from Korea?
What is happening?
Good afternoon from Korea Herald. My name is Lee Ji-yoon.
Wow.
The Korean people are very
right in.
curious about vaccines, and they're waiting for the good news regarding vaccine. I understand that you've had a lot of discussions with President Biden regarding vaccine, and I wonder whether you have any good news to deliver to the people of Korea. And has there been any meaningful...
You might be wondering, vaccines, there's millions of vaccines. Everybody's desperate for the vaccines we have, and 40% of Republicans don't want them.
You can read the joint statement and also the remarks that were issued as press release today. But to emphasize it once again, between the U.S. and Korea, for vaccine cooperation, there will be a comprehensive partnership to be established between our two nations, and there has been an agreement between our two sides on that.
Right.
The U.S. has the ability to develop vaccines, and Korean companies have the capacity to produce a biomedicine. And we are going to combine those capabilities so that we can boost vaccine supply, so that we can accelerate the rollout of vaccines to the entire world, especially in the Indo-Pacific region. For supplying vaccines to that region, I believe that we'll be able to make a contribution in that regard. And in that process, Korea, in my opinion, will get some help in stabilizing our vaccine supply. And at the same time, for the sake of the ROC-US alliance, President Biden decided to provide vaccines to the servicemen in Korea. As soon as the U.S. is ready, I understand there will be an announcement to be made by the U.S. side.
Just prematurely make that. Now there are 550,000 Korean soldiers, sailors, airmen who work in close contact with American forces in Korea. We'll provide full vaccinations for all 550,000 of those Korean forces engaging with American forces on a regular basis, both for their sake as well as the sake of the American forces. In addition to that, we've talked about the ability to have vaccines produced with our working with, and this is in the offing, working with one of the major vaccine producers in the United States, and where Korea is incredibly sophisticated, and with the help of that particular company will be able to make significant numbers of vaccines for themselves. And lastly, it is my hope and expectation, I cannot commit to it because we don't know for certain, but we think that over the remainder of 2021, we're going to be able to vaccinate every American. We have enough vaccine to vaccinate every American, period, right now. And we're going to be able to do that.
We'll have to convince a few.
Summer, and we're going to continue to get more people to engage in seeking the vaccine. I never have believed that there's a large percentage of Americans who will not take the vaccine. And we're doing very imaginative things, and states are, to get people to show up and have the vaccine. But we believe that between the second half of 2021 and going in through 2022, we could produce as many as another 1 billion doses of vaccine. Because it's not just, and this is what I like about this president, he's not just talking about any more than I'm just talking about the United States or just Korea. He's talking about the Indo-Pacific. He's talking about the world. We, with advanced capabilities, have an obligation to do everything we can to provide for protection of the entire world. I know that is an awfully ambitious proposal, but I think the nations that have that capacity are going to be continuing to work toward getting that done. And so thank you.
Time for one more, Mr. President.
If you're not asking me a mean one like you usually do.
It's something interesting, I think, that has not come up. President Obama says that there is footage records of objects in the skies.
Oh my God.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon. And he says we don't know exactly what they are. What do you think that it is?
I would ask him again. Thank you. Come on, boss, let's go.
What are we clapping for? I don't even know. Okay. Come on, bud, let's go is a pretty good wrap up for another foreign leader. All right, guys, they started an hour late, but they got it done. I hope everybody has a great weekend and don't do anything I wouldn't do, and maybe don't even do some of the things I would do. Okay, see everybody next week.